Year 9, 10 and 11, welcome to an exemplar response on setting in A Christmas Carol. Again, it's a top response. It's a band 6, done in exam conditions, 45 minutes. You'll see the student can see a lot about a little, can hone in on individual words, and this is where we start reaching higher grades. So setting in A Christmas Carol, we've got: Dickens was aware that his novella, A Political Diatribe, was unlikely to reach a poor audience, and so its allegorical meaning is aimed primarily at the upper class. Dickens uses the setting of the miners' homes to highlight the injustice of a capitalist society exploiting the working class. The place is comparable to hell, telling us how horrific it is for the miners. The metaphor streak of fiery red immediately draws connotations of hell. As an adjective, red is frequently linked to the ideas of fire and evil. Furthermore, it is the same adjective used to describe Scrooge's eyes. Made his eyes red in stave 1. This implies Scrooge and the upper class are responsible for the inhumane conditions in which the miners live. Fiery also links to hell, but could also suggest that, like flames, the poverty and awful setting is slowly disfiguring mentally or even killing them. Alternatively, such a reference to hell could also foreshadow the punishment in death for such capitalist exploitation. The escalation of this punishment from the one Marley received, chains, allows tension to build up as the stakes seemingly become higher for Scrooge. In addition to this, the setting is also presented as empty and desolate. By highlighting the hopelessness of the plight of miners, the abstract noun desolation allows the reader to feel sympathy. The idea of loneliness also implies that the upper class are severed from this place and ignorant to its inhabitants. In contrast to ideas of hell, the phrase "frost that held it prisoner" is used. This perhaps presents both the lack of compassion shown towards the miners and tells us that their home has a bleak and compassionless atmosphere. Frequently throughout his novella, Dickens suggests those with little money are happier and more warm than those with lots. This, however, suggests that these people live in such harsh conditions they cannot even be warm, figuratively or even perhaps literally. Prisoner suggests that people wish they could break free of this desperation but are unable to. Even so, the line enables us to practically feel the cold in the air. Of course, the noun frost also links to Scrooge's persona, as he is said to carry his own low temperature. This suggests capitalism is directly responsible for the horror of the conditions in which the miners live, and that they force those less fortunate to suffer against their will. In the rest of the novella, setting is used to reflect the character of Scrooge along his journey, and also to show the divide between classes in Victorian times. Dickens says when describing Scrooge's house, one could scarcely help fancying it must have run there when it was a young house and have forgotten the way back out. This tells us of Scrooge's isolation, as the house is out of place and alone. It also foreshadows the neglect of Scrooge by his friends. The house's location and features mirror those of Scrooge. Furthermore, the idea of a young house forgotten tells us that the Scrooge, as he was during childhood, is gone. The triple nouns, crime, filth and misery, to describe the despair of London are heightened by the verb reeked, which implies the aforementioned things can be smelled. This is a deeply disturbing idea and serves to highlight the horrors that capitalist exploitations have caused. The lower class have been corrupted by the rich. Also, then describing streets as wretched links to ignorance and want, who are also described in this way. This suggests that humanity's ignorance and greed are responsible for the harsh conditions in which the poor live. At the end of the novella, there is described as being heavenly sky and golden sunlight. These ideas contrast darkness at the beginning, and the adjective heavenly implies Scrooge as being freed from punishment. This contrasts with the idea from the extract that there will be punishment for Scrooge to show his redemption. Again, 45 minutes, a couple of tiny errors here and there in terms of wording and spelling, but again, top response, band 6, setting. It's clearly evident that the student knows the novella, links it to Dickens' life, Victorian society, and as I say, to get the top band, you've got to analyse individual words and see a lot about them in your explanation, and obviously this student does that very, very well. So I hope this has helped. Please check out my YouTube channel for any other videos, and massive good luck in your English literature exam.